Welcome back. Sometimes it seems like the rich get richer while the rest of us are stuck in the same spot. But if you want to change the way you think about money, there's a great book out there right now. It's by Steve Siebold. It's called How Rich People Think, and Steve is with us right now. No, is it Siebold? Siebold, there it is.
I respond to anything.
You've written 8 books.
Right.
And this one has gotten just wonderful reviews because honestly, it does seem like the wealthy stay wealthy. So what's the difference between the rich and the really rich and the rest of us?
Well, since 1984, Rob, I've interviewed over 1,200 of the wealthiest people in the world. So it's been 32 years plus.
1,200?
Over 1,200.
Ever
all over
Donald
the world.
Trump, just out of curiosity?
Yes,
You
multiple
have?
times, yes. It's a whole nother story. But
Wow.
they stay rich, they get rich and they stay rich based on the way they think. That's really the catalyst of their success, and most people around the world don't believe it.
Is it something that they're doing actively, or is it something in their day-to-day lives? Like, are there any little hacks that you could give? Wake up early, or play the market. Is there any kind of magic in the material that I haven't already heard?
All those great, not really, probably, in terms of habits. I mean, Ben Franklin said this things years ago, right? Get up early, do all those things, build habits, all that type of thing. But one of the things they do differently is they think constantly about money. They focus on money 24 hours a day, and they're thinking, and that because they focus on it, they acquire it. It's really not rocket science.
Yeah. It's almost like another book, like you're secreting yourself into wealth. So one of your, I know you have 5 steps in this book, but one of your steps is basically creating a vision.
Right.
And how important that is. So talk about that.
Yeah, create a vision on what you want. I mean, in 1984, I was a broke college student who wanted to be rich, and my vision was to be rich enough to run my own life. And that was that's a very simple vision. It's happened, a lot of people have done it over the years, in America especially.
Are you rich now?
Rich enough to run my own life.
All right. Yeah.
Yes. And I think that's the first step, is find out what you want to do in terms of money.
This was interesting. I was looking at the book when you sent it to us. So here are the 5 steps, by the way, on your screen. You always have to revisit your financial goals, which is key. I thought this was interesting. You've interviewed so many extremely wealthy people. I mean, the wealthiest of wealthy. Is there any common denominator? Or some people that are really wealthy are eccentric in certain ways. Is there a common denominator that you found they all share?
Yes, it's a great question. They have a great, healthy relationship with money. They see money as a positive thing, as opposed to what most people see money as, which is, oh, it's an unnecessary, it's a necessary evil. It's the root of all evil. Rich people are narcissists, and they're not nice people. They're selfish and all these things, and the rich don't see it that way, and they're not that way at all.
Right.
I've spent my whole life with them almost, and they're not like that at all. So
I'd love to hang out with you.
it's like 2 different worlds.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
I have a lot of
rich friends.
Wherever you're going after the show, let's do it. Top down, windows up. All right, so if you're very, very wealthy, or let's say you're not wealthy, you're just kind of starting out there, or you're like the rest of us, what can we do? What are some actionable things that we all can do to kind of make more money?
First of all,
maintain wealth.
Study rich people. It's not if the mechanics of money made people rich, in other words, knowing where to invest.
But I don't get that. So do I just go hang out in Mission Hills? What do I do?
Yeah, well, that could be part of it. Yes, associate with rich people. I mean, I've gone to more art auctions, joined more country clubs, moved into more rich neighborhoods than I could ever afford in the beginning. Did everything to get around the wealthy to see if they were thinking differently than I was, and I couldn't believe how different the differences between my thinking and their thinking. And that's when I was poor, and then when I started to adopt their thinking, things started to change for me, and then things really changed for me.
I'm so glad you're here. My wife's in the audience. She tends to be the more practical one. So I hope you're hearing this, because this is wonderful stuff. I think it is. There's association.
Yeah,
if you start to visualize yourself that way, I mean, maybe don't go out and buy a Porsche convertible or something like that.
No, that's not going to help. Getting around their consciousness of the wealthy. It's getting around, like, people, if you want to lose weight, get around fit people.
Right.
They think differently than people who are not fit, and you'll start to adopt their consciousness.
Steve Siebold, he is the author of How Rich People Think. We could sit here and talk about this all day long. Read the book. It's wonderful. There's more on all this in there. He's got 7 other books in addition to this. And I'll just say one quick thing before we send it over to Lisa, who's in the kitchen making some wonderfulness right now. But during the original or the initial segment on the show here, Steve was on his laptop over in the studio audience. So instead of watching, and he was, that's how you stay, he's always working, always working. What were you doing?
Got it right in the next book.
He's got the next book going in our studio audience.
Going,
yeah. All right, Steve, thanks so much.
Thanks, Rob.
Appreciate that.